Welcome back.
This thing off the welding table and onto a stand. We're gonna get it on the ground, get the front end on, the rear end on. Let's get into it. All right, guys, appreciate you watching the last video. So now, as you know, it's time to get the motor mounts installed. So I just water jet some front mounts. Got all my spacers set up. Now, a little trick I do when I design my spacers for my engine, I have a known dimension here. And we're simply just gonna count however many we used on each side, so you guys can see about where I have it. So we're gonna actually remachine these as a solid spacer after these mounts are welded on. So you can see I've got 2 there and 5 over here. Easy to take a caliper and get the dimension on these and go from there. It's funny, we actually use these on our Yz250 sprocket guards. It's looking real good. Always trying to be mindful when you're setting the motor in. Got a decent gap right here to where once this swing arm's out, I can pick this back up and shift it just to get this to clear around the mount, and then the head will have plenty of room to go out. So anyway, let's get them welded on. So we already have the back cinched down with the motor mount. So now we're just worrying about up and down. So I'm real happy with where it's sitting. Got plenty of clearance. Now I'm gonna take the strap off and we're gonna see what that looks like. All right, guys, so we got a few options for the lower motor mounts. So on the factory quad, this actually comes underneath like that and goes to the front of the frame. I'm definitely not doing that because I don't want this thing sticking up in the front. Now, 2 options. So you can easily weld the bar across, which I don't want to do because it's going to add rigidity to the frame. It's possibly going to make it vibrate more. And my plan is to actually press this OEM bushing out. There's nothing wrong with them. They're actually in mint shape. This quad was absolutely mint when we took it apart. So I'm gonna press this out. We're gonna have 2 tabs, 1 on each side. We're gonna have a bracket that holds this bushing. It gets bolted to the frame and then in turn gets bolted to the motor. I'm also gonna slot the holes in case there's any variances left to right. And then it's obviously not gonna move forward to back, so we've got everything else tying it in. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this pressed out. I know the Banshee guys are gonna be upset because you probably can't get these anymore, but hey, if you guys ever need any custom parts made and you can't find stuff, let me know. We might be able to recreate something like this. So I'm not gonna go too crazy. Just gonna take some sockets, press it out, and go from there. There she is. Came out nice, still in really good shape. So we're gonna go ahead and, so I'm gonna take this bearing cup, I'm gonna get the dimensions on it. I'm actually gonna oversize it so when I weld this, it does not shrink. And then that's gonna get welded to our bracket, and then that bracket's gonna get welded to the frame. So let's go ahead and draw these up in Fusion, and I'm gonna hand it off to John and have him cut some out on the lathe. Alright guys, I know I'm getting real technical in this video, but I really had this goal of showing you guys how we do stuff in our videos moving forward, just a little bit more behind the scenes. So got a weld nut right here, going to a 1/2 inch hole. See how that fits. So that's going to get TIG welded around there, real nice and clean. Still got to deburr the back of that, came right off the lathe. So this is going to get welded to the motor mount, which will actually hold these bushings. So for right now, I just have an aluminum slug inside it so it doesn't warp when I weld it. This guy is going to get welded to the frame. So again, this will be on the motor mount, sitting on top of here, bolted from the bottom, supporting the bottom of the motor. And that more or less replaces the rod, which is the OEM setup, because we're so close to the frame, might as well just tie in right here instead of having any kind of rods. So let's get it together. Well, motor mounts are on. It's ready to go on a stand. So this is a big moment for us. We're getting this thing off the welding table and onto a stand. We're gonna get it on the ground, get the front end on, the rear end on. Let's get into it. Well, we got a couple bits and bobs here. So we got all the rear end hardware, front axle spacers, got the triple clamps out of powder coat, Dominator axle, obviously the rotor adapter, all kinds of fun stuff, billet hub, and tires are ready to go. Always got a blowgun in the background when I'm trying to talk, but you're gonna have all this. Got powder. Yeah, got just about everything. Well guys, Alex is gonna go ahead and get all these components buttoned up. And as soon as that's done, we're gonna go to the next clip and get this thing right on the ground. Let's get into it. Sure does feel good to see the triple clamps on here. Obviously guys, this is going to come completely back apart. The powder coat is finished on this, so that's why it's taped off. These are finished powder coated. So we'll actually be able to slide the clamp up, slide the front end out, take the pivot bolt out, slide the rear end off, and then all this stuff's getting powder coated after it's done. 1 year review of a water jet. Yeah. I think we're almost at a year. It smells like couch day. Yeah. I was gonna make them a nice video and talk about how, you know, all the positives and negatives of a water jet. Yeah, this thing is full of sediment, so time to clean it. Man, I am excited to get this thing on the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rear end on. Alex is outside doing some chores, getting the water jet all cleaned out. I don't know whose idea it was to get one of those things, but I'll insert some clips, show you guys how fun it is to own one. Well guys, the most nerve-wracking part of doing a build and taking hundreds of measurements, making sure everything's aligned, I want to make sure this sprocket actually lines up. So got my straight edge here on the inside of the sprocket. Inside of the sprocket. Very happy. Very, very happy with this one. So guys, this is kind of the overall theme we're going for. Now, when I built this Yz250 Trike, I actually photoshopped this to make it a Banshee. Now, back when we built this, we couldn't get the yellow fenders. So we have a set of yellow front and yellow rear for this build. This shroud and gas tank are gonna get completely wrapped in yellow just like that. Well, I'm already getting excited just seeing that fender on there. Just nice having the original colors of the Tri-Z on here. I really want to try to take the yellow and kind of flow it from the front to the back and just make this thing really pop. Yeah guys, you can kind of see what I'm working with here. Give you guys a little close-up view of what we got going here. Nice invert setup on here. Got the gold powder coat on the bead locks. Again, like I was saying, the swing arm is already completely finished. Billet sprocket guard. Dominator extended axle. It's adjustable on each end. You can adjust your width. TRX rear brake components. We got our billet anti-fade nut. Really loving the gold on gold finish. Definitely feels good to see this thing come together. I've got a never-ending list of builds over here that I got to get to. After this one, we're actually moving on to the Kajiva builds, so stay tuned for that if you guys like two-strokes. We've always got some crazy two-strokes getting built. I'm real happy with how this thing's coming out. Can't wait to finish it up. Now, I've been trying to show you guys a little bit more of what we actually do behind the scenes between drawing, editing, making files, getting it on the water jet, getting in the CNC machines and all that fun stuff in some of these videos. If you guys do like seeing that, comment. If you don't like seeing it, let me know. We can edit that stuff out, but that's the kind of stuff I geek out on. I love just machines and equipment and anything that I can build cool shit with, honestly. Guys, this thing's coming right together. I'm really excited that we got yellow plastic for it. It's gonna set the build off, just having that little bit of more yellow on there instead of trying to wrap the black with just all the yellow vinyl. It's really gonna pop and look like a Yz250. That's our goal. I can't wait. In the next video, we're gonna get the exhaust installed. We're gonna cut it, make it work, talk about all that fun stuff. We're gonna do the intake, the subframe, and of course the radiators and the cooling system. There's a lot that goes into actually making one of these things run properly, and it's going to be fun as always. It's never easy doing these builds when they're never done before, so it's not like there's an instruction manual on how to do it. We just kind of comes out of here and try to make everything a reality that we talk about. So I'm gonna do everything I can to make this thing right here become a reality. While doing that, I'm gonna improve that original design of that Yz250 and make the Yz250 hopefully one of the coolest trucks we've ever built. If you haven't yet, check out my new website. I don't mean to sound repetitive in all these videos, but head over to bbchub.com. I'm gonna enter some clips of what we've got on the website. So right here, you guys can see we've got a community forum where we can all communicate, talk, share our builds. Then we have groups. We've got specific groups for our customers, from big wheels to trikes to dirt bikes to quads. I hope to see you guys on there posting your projects. Now, you guys can win this bike right here. 2022 CR250. If you guys don't like CR250s, maybe you say you don't want this. Maybe I give you a trike instead. I don't know. I've got a nice 200X resto mod kind of build going on right there. I mean, it's unlimited. We've got a little fat cat action right here. CR250 fat cat. That's going to be sick. It's going to look like my original fat cat. Anyway, I could keep talking all day. Head over to bvchub.com, sign up. If you guys want to win bikes, it's 20 bucks a month. It's a community. So what we're doing is all the money from memberships, it all goes into a fund. We're gonna put it all towards builds and custom bikes that we're gonna give away. We're trying to do this every quarter. I wanna see one of you lucky guys win, or girls, win one of these bikes every quarter. That's my goal. I want more of you guys on trikes, on dirt bikes, on big wheels. But hope to see you guys on there. We'll see you in the next video. Yep, I'll stick to making YouTube videos.
Got some free sand?
Repurpose it, put it in their water jet?
Yeah. If we let it dry out and bag it, we can like put it back in the water jet, right?
I mean, I hope so. Thousands of dollars of...
Like $3,000 sitting in there right now. Can you like operate that?
Well, it's